work hard to get your customer. Vintage Parts works as hard at keeping them. Vintage Parts, an important part of your success.
As every successful company knows, long-term customer support builds customer loyalty, and that loyalty is key to a company's long-term success.
Customer loyalty is really important to us. We have customers in the bus and truck industry that keep their vehicles 15, 20, even 25 years sometimes. So it's really important for us to be able to provide them with the service parts and allow them to keep using their vehicles. It's important to brand loyalty and really helps us with customer retention as well.
At Mazda, customer satisfaction is our top priority, and across all divisions within our North American operations. Retaining customers is the key to ongoing customer satisfaction and brand loyalty. And parts availability is a big component of the overall service experience and customer satisfaction.
Before joining CNH, I spent 22 years in the automotive industry, specifically Ford Motor Company. And one of the key differences between the auto business and the construction ag business is people are very, very loyal in this business. So when you have a customer or a town, they are John Deere customers or Case IH customers, and it takes a lot to get them to switch. So what you have to do is you have to provide them a value proposition to keep their machinery up and running.
But how far do you have to go to retain customer loyalty? At what price and at what sacrifice does a company keep inventory to meet its customers' future needs? Competition and customer demand often collide with a company's efforts to be efficient and to properly allocate resources to maximize profits. It's a juggling act. One can ill afford to tie up corporate resources such as money, space, and personnel in unproductive, slow-moving inventory.
If you take a look at the tail end of our parts, the 600,000 parts that we service through our depots, if we house them internally, my 11 building network would probably have to be 16 to 17 different buildings. That, on just a clean sheet of paper, would increase my cost structure 50% for a very low value.
Inventory segmentation is really important in our business. We find that too often our efficiency, our ability to service our customers is really hindered by having so much slow-moving inventory in our network. We often have to walk past really slow-moving inventory to get to parts that are fast-moving and the parts that we use most to service our customers.
At Mazda, we carry roughly 120,000 active parts in our parts network. And when you look at that part population, the top 2,000 parts account for over 90% of the sales. It's really the bottom half which is the trick and really where the balance and the challenge comes into play. The bottom 60,000 parts make up really less than 1% of sales.
So, on the one hand, it's essential to maintain that long-term relationship with customers. It builds customer loyalty. On the other hand, you need to allocate resources prudently. And then there are the tax implications. A company like yours may feel compelled by federal tax laws to get rid of slower-moving inventory sooner than you would want to. Even though the parts you wish to write down have no significant economic value for your company, there may be an authorized customer that is depending on the availability of those parts, a customer you want to keep. What is the answer? Vintage Parts.
Vintage Parts specializes in slow-moving parts, parts that a company needs to dispose of, yet wants to minimize the risk of alienating customers and of costly remanufacturing. Vintage Parts has over 40 years of inventory services experience, 20 million cubic feet of storage, over 1 million part numbers available, and shipping to several 100,000 customers worldwide.
What Vintage brings to the table is they extend our service life for parts to customers that we as a company cannot do as efficiently. We want to service our customer for 20, 25 years.
We really see our service parts organization as a competitive advantage. We truly want to be best in class in servicing our customers. Vintage has helped us to do that. We've been able to remove slow-moving inventory out of our warehouses, which really drags down our efficiency and productivity, and move that to a vintage warehouse. We're able to support our customers out of that vintage warehouse efficiently, and our dealers have had nothing but positive things to say about their working relationship with Vintage. Vintage has been a great solution for us in handling that slow-moving inventory. They know how to handle it efficiently and cost-effectively. It's really been a win-win for everybody in our supply chain.
We look at Vintage Parts as an extension of our distribution network. Gives us an opportunity to carry our very slow-moving parts in an area where it doesn't lead to additional costs, it doesn't drive inefficiencies within our distribution network, but it provides a seamless solution to our dealers and to our customers so that we can uphold top-notch customer satisfaction and optimize the costs within our network.
The Vintage program will reduce your inventory carrying costs through inventory reduction of slow-moving, inactive, and discontinued parts, and in a way that will improve your brand loyalty, facilitate your customer needs, and free up your resources for the more profitable activities of your company. And Vintage Parts' unique marketing fee system will provide your company with ongoing revenues to support your marketing efforts.
The Vintage Parts program is a straightforward way of dealing with your inventory issues. So, how do you get started with Vintage Parts, and how does the program work?
One of our marketing executives will meet and explain how Vintage Parts can help you achieve lower inventory costs and, at the same time, minimize the risk of disappointing or losing your customers. After receiving and taking control of the selected inventory, this same inventory is available to your customers within hours of receipt. What's really important is that customers receive professional service at all times. Every effort is made to provide the highest level of service and meet the needs of each and every customer. It is what Vintage Parts stands for. It is who we are. It's how we measure our success, one customer at a time. All our services, such as same-day shipping, emergency order hotline, and the Vintage Parts 30-day no-fault return policy, are aimed at building a better customer relationship.
Vintage has really been a great partner for us. They really help us to service our customers at really high levels for parts that we just don't want to store in our warehouses. That's Vintage's expertise, and it really has provided us with a great avenue for really extending the life cycle of our service parts by using Vintage to help us help our customers.
Vintage Parts has provided a great deal of value for us as it pertains to making our network more efficient. They provide excellent fulfillment to our dealer network very quickly and in a timely manner, as well as the degree of accuracy and the inventory accuracy that they uphold is top-notch. And overall, I'm very pleased with the results we've seen with Vintage Parts.
To me, business is about relationships. And with our long-standing history and relationship with Vintage, I trust them implicitly. They are an extension of my team. They are an extension of our brands, and our dealers rely on them every day.